That's Chris Evans' cock.
Do you think he called it the Winter Soldier?
I don't know. You think he can lift it like Thor?
Give it a 7 out of 10.
What the fuck?
Fucking blah!
Oh my gosh.
Okay, 8 out of 10?
You were supposed to be dead from COVID, dude.
Dead?
Yeah, we told the audience last week that you died from COVID. Why? You can't be here. You have to, like, the continuity has to continue.
Oh,
We already hired a Jewish baby to take your place.
Now you're putting that Jewish baby out of a job. How do you feel?
I feel much shame. And I'm sorry, Bernard Bachman.
Bernard Bach.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, your
Welcome
hairy Jewish infantile specimen is back.
I guess we're just gonna retcon the last episode. Whatever, that's fine. This is the dialogue, everybody. Thank you for watching. My name is Gage.
We touched hands. My name is Kyle.
Who's not dead from COVID.
I'm
No.
Micah, and
Hands are so cold.
my hands are so cold.
Do you think that you should be wearing a mask just in case you're still contagious?
I mean, we sucked face earlier. I think it's a little too late.
I'm not gonna do that. It's the same bit again.
Same bit. It's fine. Just
Oh, look at your mask.
I was gonna say, look at that pink mask, but this is in black and white,
Yeah.
and
Look
most
at-
people probably aren't even watching the video.
Look at this white mask.
Yeah. Anyway,
Look at this white man.
thank you to all of you who are listening / watching.
Should I start off with
Yeah,
the
we're
news?
gonna talk about some movie news.
All right,
today.
we got some movie news to jump
We got
into.
a lot of movie news.
Yeah,
to
we
talk
do.
About.
I didn't know whether I should start with the smaller stuff or bigger stuff, so it's just kind of intermixed, where there's some smaller stuff and some bigger stuff. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the Dune trailer, because it's been a while since we've done our podcast, and the Dune trailer has dropped since then.
I don't really know much about Dune, other than it was previously a David Lynch movie based off a pre-existing book, and it takes place in the desert, and it's like a sci-fi thing with giant worms, and Kyle MacLachlan was in the last one.
Is it McLaughlin? Is that how you pronounce it?
MacLachlan?
I thought it was McLaughlin.
MacLachlan? Did I say MacLachlan?
McLaugh.
McLach.
Muglick.
Kevin McAllister.
Who?
John Stamos. Richard Pryor.
Yeah, I don't know anything
Joey
about Dune.
Tribbiani.
And also Zach is obsessed with it.
Zach,
That's all.
who we had on the podcast to talk about the East Rail 177 trilogy, really likes Dune.
I was like mildly interested at first, and then they were a lot, because I like sci-fi a lot, and then they added, I never know if I'm saying his name correctly because I feel like an idiot, Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Okay,
Basically,
Timothy
yeah.
Chalamet. I haven't seen anything.
You were saying?
I haven't seen anything where I'm like, yeah, I like this dude a lot yet. So they added him, and I was like, okay. And then I found out it was the same director as the guy who did Blade Runner 2049, and I've pretty much lost all interest. I'm sorry, 2049 is the most boring sci-fi.
You don't like Blade Runner 2049?
It's so boring.
You're a piece of shit.
Let's walk for 40 minutes. Here's some flashy lights in a futuristic city. That's what I expect from Dune, but in the sand.
Just for reference, is the same guy that thinks a ghost story is boring. Just so we.
If you want to watch someone, what was it? What did they eat? A pie?
Hey, I'm the middleman here.
If you want to watch someone eat a pie
I love a ghost
for
story.
15 minutes,
But
I'm not even exaggerating. Someone watch a pie. Watch a pie. Somebody.
It's a pie.
If you want to watch someone eat a pie,
If you want to watch somebody watch a pie for 15 minutes,
fuck yes. Watch a ghost story.
it's so fucking sad. Okay.
and then a ghost flies out the top.
Okay, but a ghost story is pretty boring.
Okay, I'm
Come
in the
on.
middle though. I'm in the middle. I'm never the middleman here.
I mean,
but
I understand. It's definitely not your type of movie. Correct?
It's not a lot of people's type of movie. It's
What? A lot of
boring.
people like it.
I like a ghost story.
But I mean,
A
you
lot of
don't-
people like Suicide
I'm just
Squad.
gonna let you.
Yeah,
What does that
I'm
mean?
just gonna let you
Like-
guys go.
You're the one who likes Suicide Squad.
I don't know. Did you see my last review? I gave it 2.5 stars.
Okay, well, regardless, what the fuck was I saying?
don't
Micah,
know.
you always do this to me. You always do.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
For the 9,000th
You're the middleman.
time. Okay, I'm the middleman. I like a ghost story, but I understand why you think Blade Runner 2049 is boring. I don't like hate the movie, but I think what turns me off to that movie is just how much people love it. That sounds like
get
that
that.
sounds
I
lame,
get that.
But it's like it's the classic for me overrated type thing because I mean, I'm not even joking. It's not like, oh man, it's the best fucking movie ever made. People literally.
Oh, you're talking about a ghost story.
No, Blade Runner.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
2049.
Okay.
Like every fucking review I read on Letterboxd, this is the best movie ever made. This is the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
5 stars, 5 stars. And I'm not even like exaggerating.
Is it kind of like The Office, where like the audience has ruined?
I don't think it's the audience. It's more so. I'm frustrated because I don't really get it. If that makes sense.
The thing is, like, okay, I haven't seen either Blade Runner movies, but like I've definitely seen people talk about the second one that way. But what I find interesting is 9 times out of 10 they're talking about the cinematography, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
No, I honestly don't know what else people love about that
Honestly,
movie.
when I watched it, I thought it was kind of ugly. Like,
Here's the thing. Here's what's funny about that movie. I can't even say that it looks good because I feel like I'm gonna get so much shit for this.
Didn't you like fall asleep during it?
No,
or
I
something?
didn't fall asleep. I did watch it in like 2 parts, but I watched it back when I was living with my parents, and our internet sucked raw ass. So
not a wet ass.
no,
Raw
ass, like fresh shit.
That's
ass.
the best type of ass,
Yeah.
my guy.
Raw.
So
WWE Raw.
what I mean is, it was at like 480p on
Just
like
like
my
4 pixels on the screen.
So I feel bad because I wasn't even able to enjoy that aspect of it. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely need to rewatch it. But it's not, the story itself isn't interesting enough to me. So
Well, when I watched it, everybody's like, "Oh, this movie looks gorgeous," and then there's like the entire like last act of the movie is just this ugly orange haze. And I'm just like, what?
I have seen lots of like clips and stuff, and like when we had it at the theater and shit like that, I saw a lot of it. But I mean, I can kind of agree with you. It's just I feel like with a lot of cinephile people and like people, I don't know, people who love the movie, I think just like tend to really gravitate more towards just like neon lights and like colorful sets and shit like that. And that movie is just like
Yeah.
a wet dream for those type of people.
Okay, not to sound like, I don't know. I feel like every pretentious movie has to show boobs. Like, they're like, all right, we're making a pretentious movie.
Where did this conversation come from?
Because,
What?
Because there's a sequence where there's like a hologram and she's like, her boobs, and I'm just like, why? What's the need for that? It makes no sense. And then you think of a bunch of pretentious movies.
Micah, it's artsy. That sex scene in The Godfather was crucial to the plot.
I'm just saying, every pretentious movie is like, look, we're mature. We have
Okay,
boobies.
here's something. You know how
I
I'm
don't
like,
disagree.
you know how I'm
You
weird?
don't disagree, see?
I mean, yeah.
I just thought it was funny that there was no fucking build up. That was just like
that was hilarious.
came out of nowhere.
I'm sorry. That's like, I'm like, cinematography, boobs.
I mean, this podcast is already. When you listen back, you don't realiase how ADHD these episodes are until you're like, Jesus.
And we've kind of
Christ.
dragged Gage into that.
Maybe. Anyway,
I'm just trying to imagine what we appear like to people who aren't even like. You're just like we do.
and then we expect to be taken seriously later when we're like analyzing a movie.
Yeah.
Or that we even like have all these inside jokes that like no one's aware of
Yeah.
us. So then they're just coughing for no reason.
Yeah.
Blade Runner.
Boobs.
Have you seen any of Denis Villeneuve's other movies? I think that's how you pronounce it.
What else has he done?
Wait, did he do a ghost story?
No, that's
You
No,
confused me.
Edgar Wright did a ghost story. I'm just joking. No, so he did Sicario, which I love. He did Enemy, which is pretty good. Have you seen Enemy?
yeah. I like
Ooh,
it.
this giant
Actually,
spider
actually
metaphor.
liked Enemy.
He did. Jesus Christ.
Look at me. I'm pretentious with
Oh,
metaphors.
Prisoners. He did Prisoners, which is like one of my favorite
I want to
movies.
see that one really
Prisoners
bad.
is amazing.
Not gonna lie.
I do want to see Prisoners. Really
I can't
bad.
believe-
so bad that I'll poke your thigh.
Please do. I can't believe either of you haven't seen that movie.
It's on my watch list. I'm ready to go.
We should watch it for one of the podcasts.
It's
should.
amazing.
We should do it.
We totally should. It's like one of the best thrillers.
We could
out
do
there.
Prisoners and The Prestige.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah.
Let's watch a ghost story 4 times. And
Ugh.
watch Micah just shit his balls.
Oh, they're coming out.
The sounds you make. All right.
Anyway, what are we talking about? Dune.
Dune.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not really that excited.
I'm not
for
excited
Dune,
for it.
But I mean, I guess
Blade Runner
I'll give it a
2049
shot.
Sand.
I mean, I know nothing about Dune either, and to me, when I watched the trailer, it just looked like It looked like if Denis Villeneuve had made Valerian, kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can get that.
Like Valerian with like Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Cinematography.
I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all.
It'll probably have
I don't know anything about Dune.
good
really.
cinematography.
I'll watch it. I'm just not really looking forward to like everybody and their mother like coming over how good
I
the
know.
movie is for like
The
9 years
cinematography
after.
is so good. There's so much sand.
Thanks, Kermit the Frog.
Hi, oh,
so much-
Kermit the Frog here. I love sand.
Okay, honestly, it's not like from what I remember, I've only seen the trailer once, but it didn't look that visually appealing.
but I didn't think Blade
like
Runner
the
2049
color
looked-
wise. At least Blade Runner 2049 had that color palette going where it's like changing and like with the
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think that's kind of intentional. It's supposed to look kind of muddy and gross.
Now, if you want to
Yeah,
talk about a movie,
yeah, you're right,
when I think
you're
of a movie that looks good, I think of The Lighthouse.
I mean, yeah.
I can't
So
tell.
I don't. No. I'm being serious because
I know. It's not what I would have expected you to say, to be honest.
really,
Yeah.
because
no, The Lighthouse is like one of the best looking movies
people
ever, I
like to
think.
be like,
I fucking love the
Micah doesn't like artsy movies, so he can't blah blah blah. So I'm just trying to say that like some movies, even though I'm not like, I actually kind of like The Lighthouse, but it looks good, and Blade Runner 2049 just I don't think does.
See, I had to like. The first time I saw The Lighthouse, I didn't know how I felt about it, but like it actually took me like a while to appreciate it more. So like, but I mean that movie's like.
Who would have thought I loved that movie more than any of you guys?
Yeah.
I was
I'm
not
really glad
expecting
you
that.
do. I kind of want to rewatch it. I feel a little weird.
I
I appreciate it the more time that goes by.
You like me lobster?
yeah. I think I don't know. It's weird. There's like parts that I'm not into. You know, like some of. You know, there's like the mythology aspects, and there's that like there's just some weird shit that I'm like whatever.
Yeah.
But I
the
just
mermaid.
I love the atmosphere so much.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't there a mermaid vagina?
Yes.
I'm
Pretentious
here,
movies have so
I'm kind of a hypocrite. I'm kind of a hypocrite because the reason I love The Lighthouse, I'm hypocritical because I love the way it looks and the atmosphere, and it's the same as like the people who love Blade Runner 49 love it for the looks and the atmosphere. So I feel like
But I feel like that's not the only reason you
I mean,
like
it's
it.
not. It's not. But I mean, yeah. Anyway.
People are gonna think that we just like whipped you between cuts.
Oh yeah. yeah, I just smoked some. Do you smoke cocaine? No. I snorted.
Smoke crack.
Oh, I snorted crack.
But,
Wait,
okay, hold
never
on.
mind.
I feel really dumb. Can I? This has nothing to do with movies.
Okay. Is it a glease about cocaine?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Is crack and cocaine the same thing?
Yeah, because people say crack cocaine.
Because I've been confused about that.
So I think I could be wrong, but
Because clearly I do cocaine.
so
all
I
the
think
time.
cocaine starts out as like crystals, and then you.
What about
you
like
can,
crystal meth? Though?
You can smoke. No, it's meth and cocaine are different. I'm pretty sure that you can boil or like melt the crystals into a liquid and then smoke it or something.
Did some
I
research,
sound
eh?
fucking retarded. Or
If you do
can
drugs,
or
let
you
us
can
know.
crush it up. I think
you do meth. Leave a
I
comment
think it's
below.
kind of like meth. I just spit. I think it's kind of like meth, like the same process. I don't know. I could be wrong. Teach us. If you've snorted cocaine or smoked crack, please let us know.
Okay.
This is coming from the guy that hasn't even drank alcohol, and I'm explaining to you guys what cocaine is.
I haven't drank alcohol either.
Nice try.
I couldn't even say either correctly.
Anyway, that's Dune. Let's move on.
All right, so
Oh god, we're still talking about.
Yeah.
We've made it through one fucking story.
So
So
some
far.
of these things I want to talk about, just so not necessarily so we can talk about, or I just want to announce it, not so we can talk about it, but just so people who are into movies are aware of it. Because I don't know if there's necessarily anything here to talk about, but Wonder Woman 1984 got delayed until Christmas. It was supposed to come out
I'm not shocked.
next month, I think.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys really have anything to say about that, but
I mean, I feel like just with everything going on right now.
Does that mean we have to wait a couple like over a month to see
Well, there's.
Kristen Wiig
I feel like
as a cat?
for like.
I forgot about that.
Wait, what?
Kristen Wiig plays Cheetah or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
I'm wearing my Wonder Woman
So
shirt.
excited.
Wonder Woman.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, there's gonna be like for a while just a group of movies that they're just gonna keep pushing like the
Yeah.
release date because
Well,
gotta show it in theaters.
I have some interesting things to add on to that. I might skip around in the news thing because, so there's a rumor. I don't know how valid it is, but Black Widow and Soul, you remember that Pixar movie Soul?
Oh yeah.
Are possibly going direct to Disney Plus for the same thing as Mulan, where you have to pay like $30
Yeah.
on top of the $10 Disney Plus thing. So you're paying $40 a piece if you want to watch Black Widow or Soul. So there's a possibility that could happen.
So I know you guys are theater boys.
Oh wait! What? I tuned out. Black Widow's going to Disney
Black
Plus?
Widow and Soul.
What the fuck? Black
No,
Widow?
no, no. It's possible. They're not saying for
It's a
sure.
rumor.
They're not saying for sure, but
Shit.
they're
Okay.
talking about it.
I'm like, it's like that's gonna be such a conflicted feeling because I'm gonna be excited to watch Black Widow, but
I
I'm
wanna
gonna
see
be
in theaters.
sad that it's
I
going to
really
Disney
hope
Plus.
that they do the Disney Plus thing, but they also allow it to be in some theaters, you know, like ones
Yeah.
that are open.
See, I'm pro it being on Disney Plus, and I know you guys are theater boys, and you're very much like the theater
Oh, yeah.
experience. But like, I don't know. I feel like it would be different if it wasn't like you have to track down specifically which theaters are open and stuff right now.
Hey, I'm cool with that. I
think
like
it's just-
doing it.
I know you do, but I think sometimes, especially now, it's just easier to just like watch it at home.
I know it's easier, but I mean, at
least in this time being.
But at this point in time, if all the movies were going to streaming, then the theaters would not survive. So it's
True.
like
That's true.
I mean, so I've noticed past this week, I honestly didn't expect the theaters we have been going to, Ellensburg and Oregon. I expected after this week that they were just kind of going to close down again.
Yeah.
No, they're staying open. They got both of them got a new movie, The History of David Copperfield, which I didn't really expect, but
What
it's
else-
like brand
anything
new.
else?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
But they're still like willing to put out new stuff. So I'm it gives me hope, and they're still open because there was a time where both theaters were open for a little bit, and then they weren't getting enough business, and then they had to close down again when they were showing older movies, and then Bill and Ted and New Mutants came out, and they opened both theaters back up, and I was like, oh, they're only gonna have it open for a week or so, and then they're gonna close down again. But no, it looks like they're staying open. So hopefully that's forever now. Like there's not another closure. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of unfortunate. I know you guys talked about that whole thing the last episode to death, but I just like didn't really get to.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Add my 2
I feel
cents.
like there's a much bigger discussion than what we even really touched on.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I don't know. I think I definitely feel bad for theaters, and I like seeing movies in theaters, but even before, obviously, the whole coronavirus thing happened back in March, honestly, I think most people's perception of going to the movies has just kind of changed the last
Which I
5-10
hate.
years. But I feel like I understand it though. I don't know, and I kind of predicted for a while, even before all this started, that eventually, like, theaters would close down. I didn't think they would go away entirely.
Yeah.
What I predict, and I still think this will probably happen, is that like public theaters will probably start to weed out slowly.
What do you
But-
mean by public theaters?
Like the theater, theater chains, like
Oh, AMC,
Anybody
okay.
can walk in, buy a ticket,
Gotcha.
whatever. But I could very realistically see the percentage of people who still really care, like people like film nerds and stuff, like cinephiles like us, who really care about the theater experience and not just the average Joe, they're gonna have. I could see them having like almost like a country club style experience where like you pay like a subscription or like an extra thing and you can come in and it's like a really nice experience and you can like see. I could see them doing something like that.
I'm afraid that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was basically done.
Okay.
So.
I'm afraid that it's going to basically become what drive-in movie theaters are now, where they're kind of rare and kind of sprinkled throughout the United States, and you have to travel quite a ways to get to one if you want to go to one. And I think movie theaters need to do their part as well. If they want to stay open, they need to stop charging $15 for a ticket and $10 for a bag of popcorn. Yes,
It's not their fault. They have no choice. I mean,
think about our theater. Do you really think if they decreased the amount, a jumbo popcorn from $7.50 to $5 that they'd lose?
Why do you think the prices go up every time minimum wage does? It's not they don't want to, you know? I mean,
So do you think people just need? Do you think if more people went instead of staying home and streamed,
if you had
more
more
people, then there would be decreased prices?
maybe, but it's also, that's the whole just kind of paradox of raising the minimum wage and like all prices going up and all this inflation is like it doesn't, you know, everything goes up even more is a thing.
Yeah.
So not to like make it a whole political thing, but
That's one thing I've never understood is people are like, yeah, we're getting minimum wage, it's going up, and then I'm just like, but that means every gas, movie tickets,
my fucking rent went up.
everything
when
around you is going to go up.
And the ratio is usually counterbalanced.
Yeah.
It's not like my minimum wage goes up and then rent goes up and it matches and the ratio is the same. No, the ratio actually extends.
Yeah.
So I'm paying more rent. I'm actually making less money technically.
So I've never understood that, why people are like, yeah, our minimum wage is going up. I'm like, dude, everything else is going up. Who cares?
One thing I learned about the movie theater also working there is that the theaters are not a business that makes an enormous amount of revenue. It's a very small, I mean, obviously you have AMC, which is a huge chain and stuff like that, but I mean, movie theaters don't make as much money as you think that they do because the ticket prices go to the studios. And then the food is where they make their most money,
It's
but
the concessions entirely.
It's the concessions entirely, essentially. And then you still have, I mean, they're buying all that food, they're paying employees, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't they have
look,
to-
think about their fucking electric bill.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I remember for a while when the theater first shut down, the Majestic was leaving their lights on, and I was like, it's probably a lot of money.
Yeah.
Don't they have to actually like pay for the rights too to show the movies?
I don't know.
I don't
Maybe.
know. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that they just get the studios get a large like a very large percentage of what the movie makes from their theater.
Well, how do they go like, hey, all right, because like, you know, when like people, because you, just for clarification, you guys worked at the same theater for a long time, and like didn't you guys, you know, you had a friend that was like vouching for like getting A24 movies. How's that process work? Do you know?
What I always heard is that A24 didn't return their calls, but I always kind of assumed that they weren't trying hard enough. There was a while in Yakima where we weren't getting any smaller artsy shit, and if we did, it was very rare.
And you'd have to go to Sunnyside.
And then we started getting, and then they finally kind of started getting in contact with A24. Around the time A24 movies started getting more popular also.
Right at Midsummer. I remember Midsummer was our first one.
It was like, so the ball started getting rolling a little bit more, and then you kind of noticed more and more shit was starting to come in.
The Lighthouse.
Yeah, but not even just A24 movies, other stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was just one of those things where, because the guy you're talking about was the son of the manager who actually contacts the studios and stuff. So it was just one of those things of like informing him of like who to reach out to and who to push for, because I mean, you know, you don't really think about contacting smaller studios and stuff like that. And then I think there's some instances where the studios contact you. You know, but obviously we're kind of a smaller place, so it's like we don't have a lot of people reaching out to this town.
It's just interesting because we have a very unique perspective because we live in a small town with I don't know what the population is around here.
I don't know.
But like,
It's actually not that small, like compared to most of Washington
right?
State.
But I mean, like we don't have any.
We're not a big city. We don't have big chain theaters.
There's
not a whole lot to do
They're all
here.
independently owned. They're all local. So we have a very unique perspective when it comes to like. Because most of the world, they're used to going to an AMC theater wherever they live, or something like that, or a Cinemark.
I mean, that's the thing when like we get a movie like The Lighthouse, it's like fucking Christmas here.
Yeah.
You know, that's why like before.
And we're like
before-
the only ones in the theater when
Before
we go
like
see it.
before quarantine and shit happened, I remember like, oh fuck, are we gonna get? I mean, this was like a little while before. Oh, are we gonna get fucking The Lighthouse and Jojo Rabbit? Oh, you think we're gonna get it? Oh, that'd be so cool.
And then we got 'em.
So, like movies like that, we were like,
was
oh, are we
awesome.
gonna get it? And then we get it, and it's like so exciting, you know. And we were starting to get stuff like that, and it was like awesome. And before then, you know, I would always travel to Sunnyside to their theater because they would always get A24 movies for some reason,
Right.
which is strange because I think that's a smaller place, but maybe they just had better connections. Or
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to get into the business of... I do know something, but I don't know if I should get into the business
Yeah,
of,
don't
of the theater
Yeah.
on the air.
no dirty
So,
laundry.
Yeah, so never mind. I know why, but...
Why Sunnyside?
Why Sunnyside got one and they got them, and
Oh, okay.
the
Maybe
Majestic
you know
didn't.
something I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember always traveling there.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? How did we get here?
We were talking about Black Widow and Soul going straight to Disney Plus.
Right. So movie
honestly,
theaters.
if you live near a theater or within like an hour of a theater, go support your local theater so that way they can stay open, even if it's pricey right now. It's actually not that pricey. A lot of them are doing deals. There was like a $5 deal at the one in Oregon, just simply because they were trying to encourage more and more people to come in. So the prices aren't even probably as high as they normally are.
Yeah. And pretty much, I mean, I've only ever been to like that, that when we went and saw Back to the Future, Jurassic Park in Oregon.
That was in the Dalles.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're all, if you're still worried about like social distancing and stuff, like I think they almost
All the
have
theaters
to follow.
Yeah, all the
those
theaters have
guidelines.
great rules, have great protection on how to keep yourself safe. You know, they have hand sanitizer everywhere. So if you're scared of getting in contact with someone and people are going to be neglectful of that, you don't have to worry about that at all. It'll be about the same as you know. I know everybody's probably at this point gone shopping or gone into restaurants with masks on and stuff. So it's really not that different.
It's not. No, and
In fact, I'd say it's safer.
I mean, yeah, and because you're most likely going to be one of the, if not the only person in there.
Yeah, because so few people are going right now. So seriously, encouraging you to go see movies right now at your local theater. So there are a few new movies that have been announced. So this might be new news to you guys, but Happy Death Day to Us is the working title for Happy Death Day 3.
Oh man, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, have mercy.
I
That's
haven't
hilarious.
seen.
I
the
thought you
other
liked the second one.
two.
It was pretty good.
I haven't seen the other two, and I don't care.
The first one, I like
the
the first
Happy
one.
Death Days are really
It's
fun.
so
Yeah?
fun. I love Happy Death Day. The second one, it's not terrible, but it didn't live
I
up to my
had a
expectations.
lot of fun watching it, but I forgot it immediately. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I just need to watch it again, because it was fun. It really owned the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah.
It just went balls
Would you
out.
say it's like a rent-worthy movie? Just like
I would say this. Yeah,
The first one,
the first one. Like,
I'd own it.
I would buy it.
yeah.
I would buy the.
If you
first
see
one.
it, buy it. It's great.
It's surprisingly good.
you're just nothing.
The movies don't take
So
themselves
hyper,
seriously.
man.
Am I?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I am.
Happy Death Day to Us.
That's the working title. It's
That's
not
confusing.
because it's happy.
Well, yeah, that is confusing. 'cause
it's Happy
to
Death Day,
you-
Happy Birthday to you,
Happy
and then
Death Day to you.
or Happy Death Day to you, and then Happy Death Day to us.
It should be like Happy Birthday, Dear Grandma, or something like that.
What?
What?
You know, because of the song, like Happy Birthday to you, Happy Birthday, dear.
Oh.
Happy Birthday to blah blah. That's the name of Happy Death Day 3.
Yeah.
They
Any
just-
other movies?
So yeah, we have very excited for this one. Very, very excited. Borat 2 has.
Oh yeah.
So they like filmed it in secret and they've already like showed some screenings of it, and I'm like stoked because Borat's one of my favorite comedies ever, and I'm so excited to see it offend so many people.
I mean,
Go fuck yourself.
what?
Wait. Okay. Here's my concern.
I know.
I think
know.
I have the same concern you do.
We're
With this
living in a
political
very
climate,
different climate
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I know Sacha Baron Cohen is like, you know,
A liberal.
he's a liberal, and that's okay. But I'm worried because of the climate we're in now that the people that were like, oh man, everybody's gonna get offended. Maybe it's gonna be towards the other
The
side,
conservative
more.
side, yeah.
Like he might double down on that, and it might be like. I can just see the reviews already. This is such a good critique of Trump's America and shit like that.
I don't think
And if it's that, then that's annoying as
I don't
hell.
think it's gonna be like that. I think it'll make some jabs, but not in the way
Probably.
you expect, because
I'm expecting the movie to at least bring it up once.
yeah, I saw a video that was pretty recent. It was just like a skit for like Jimmy Kimmel or something, where Sacha Baron Cohen came back as Borat and went door to door knocking on people's doors and being like, who are you going to vote for? And they'd be like, I'm voting for Trump. He's like, oh, great. He hates Jews. And like, it's being stupid and ridiculous, and it's not really like actually
Yeah.
saying anything.
Well, also, he has that other show on Showtime that he started a couple years ago where it's like almost exclusively political. So even like if he decided to like really like double down on it, like you said, it would like it'd be kind of redundant even if you're like a fan of the show, because like that Showtime show, like it's like almost exclusively that he's like fucking with politicians the whole time.
Yeah, if he really wants to like joke and poke fun at what's been going on in America recently, fine.
I can see him
But
doing
there's so much shit that it's been done.
It's been done.
But I mean, there's so much stuff that if it's just like, oh, Trump's America sucks and stuff, then it's gonna be like,
But
only so many
man.
times you can say Orange Man bad.
Oh,
Here's
my
here's
God.
what I see happening is he pokes fun, kind of like the whole like he hates Jews. It's great. I see it where it's so ridiculous and over the top that there's no merit to it. It's just poking fun, and I'm okay with that. If he's just like saying something that's just so egregious and outrageous, then
make fun of everybody.
Yeah.
That's what Borat 1 did so well.
So if he can do that, where yes, he might say something about Donald Trump or Joe Biden or whoever, but it's just has no merit to it and it's whatever, then I'm totally cool with that.
I think, I don't know if you said this exactly, but I took this away from what you said. Because of the different climate we're in now, I feel like political humor is so popular, and I think a lot of people are just so done with it, including myself. I'm worried that even if he does make fun of like all sides and stuff, it's just gonna be like
Nothing
all
new.
right.
Well, okay. What I think what most people appreciated about the first one was that, like, I mean, at least this is how I interpreted the joke of like Borat being like, he's obviously playing this like very like over the top ridiculous like foreigner stereotype, but it's almost like saying something about how when he goes to America and like he'll say this ridiculous shit and everybody's more concerned about being polite.
Yeah, I love that.
That's that's sort of the joke in
I
itself.
know, like the guy that takes him on his test, he's like, I'm not quite used to that, but that's all right.
Yeah, like
Will you be my boyfriend?
but it almost like comments on like how Americans view foreigners and like how much we just like.
That movie really captures like the early 2000s.
But there's also the flip.
what year did that come out? I'm sorry.
It came out in 06.
Okay.
I mean, there's definitely parts of that movie that's like, you know, like when he goes to the church or when he goes to that.
Yeah, it's
You
poking
know.
fun. But there was also the guy at the rodeo who was
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
talking about
talking
the
about.
fairies or whatever. So he was showing how people were overly polite, but he was also showing kind of the ugly, like some people are like.
But that's the thing.
like-
That's what the beauty of it is. Like, there is no plan until it happens.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's like he
awesome.
didn't go into it. It was just kind of the world around him.
I'm just worried they're gonna edit it and cut it so they only keep the parts that they want for their.
Here's
So
the thing: is it even going to be in America?
Well, I've read a thing that says the plot of this one is basically Borat the character. After the success of his past movie, he feels like because everybody recognizes him as Borat, he needs to like disguise himself in public, and that's how they'll get around the fact. So it's according to like some journalist.
So it's like he's a character within a character.
So it's like
shit.
It's like Sacha Baron Cohen playing Borat playing Sacha Baron Cohen is how they've described it.
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's fucking.
Well, I did see some behind the scenes footage of him driving a car, and he was wearing his typical Borat outfit. So I know for sure there will still
But you know
be
that
some
thing that came out of
Borat
like
stuff.
a couple months ago where he was at the did you guys see this? He was at a Republican rally in like Olympia, and he was like he got on stage and he wasn't as Borat, but it was clearly Sacha Baron Cohen, and he had like a big cowboy hat, and he was singing like what was he
I did
saying?
not know that.
Like oh my god. Inject somebody with the Wuhan flu or something like that. And he was trying to get people to sing with him, and some of them were, and like some people think that might actually be for Borat too. And then people got
I could
pissed.
see it.
People got pissed, and they like kicked him out of there, and he ran away. And then he came back a little bit later, disguised as a news reporter apparently, and got people's reactions, and they didn't even like
I could
Do what he did.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah.
I could see that.
What did you think of that weirdo over there?
I could definitely see that being in
That's
Borat
so
too. I hope
funny.
it is.
I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited. I hope I'm not disappointed. It might be my most anticipated movie. I don't
See,
know when
that's
it's gonna
one-
come
just
out.
Put that shit on fucking streaming. Let's watch that shit now.
Dude,
I'm
fuck
so
yeah.
ready for that. That
Yeah.
does not need to be a theater
No.
movie.
But if it does come out in theaters, I'll still be
Honestly,
happy.
I don't know. You can make a very real case that Borat might not do so well in theaters these days as the first one did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, people are.
It feels more like a Netflix original movie.
Yeah.
I agree. That shit would do so well. on
What
Netflix.
I think is crazy is that it was filmed in 04, 05, the first Borat.
Yeah.
And that's only like 3 or 4 years after 9/11. And so you see some people like talking about like Muslims. There were some people talking about Muslims, and they're like, some were pretty accepting, some were not accepting. So I wonder if they're gonna try and say something about something current now. You know, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. I think we're just hoping he just doesn't take the very easy, like,
Yeah, easy.
Trump bad racist,
Yeah.
like
Because again, I mean,
the
that's
same
all people
the
are doing
same
now.
commentary you could get on
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert or wherever.
Yes, exactly. Don't
Just the same
I think you just nailed
regurgitation.
it with the word easy.
Yeah.
Do something.
I think you
different.
could do both ways too. If you want to talk about Joe Biden having a stroke or Donald
But I
Trump
even
being
think
orange
that's
and
easy.
racist.
I even think
no,
that's
that's what
easy.
I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
both are easy, and we just kind of need to. It's boring.
I
and
think
we
what's
need to
more
steer
interesting
clear.
to me personally is the political polarization of the people, not so much the politicians.
Yeah.
That's the shit that's more interesting. You can make fun of Donald Trump all day
When
long.
he's just at a riot and he's like, "Yes, hate the Jews," just throwing stuff. I don't know, just being stupid, going up to people and
He
coughing.
probably
on-
filmed this
He's like,
before.
"Do you
before
like
COVID.
Corona? Do you like Corona?"
I'm assuming it was filmed like.
I think it was filmed during COVID, partially.
During?
Well, that clip that came out that Mike was talking about of him in the car that somebody filmed, that was like
I mean,
a
that
month
type of
ago.
movie they could have been filming that for like 3 years probably.
Yeah, who
just
knows?
randomly because you can
Just
just,
here
do
and
whatever.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can just like piece it together.
I
as
mean, if
you
it's
go.
already edited together,
Yeah.
like,
shit.
shit, we might see it in like a month or so.
They could just drop it.
That'd be
They're
awesome.
doing that a lot now.
They are, where it's just like, oh shit, that's coming out. Like, I wasn't gonna talk about this, but the trailer just dropped for Love and Monsters, and I like Dylan O'Brien, so I was like, and that just came out of nowhere, and that's coming out next month, so I was like, sick.
I didn't even watch that. Speaking of trailers that just came out of nowhere, kinda, not
Wait,
really.
that was my next one.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we talked about this guy when he was on our he wasn't on the Thunder Road podcast, but we talked about him on the Thunder Road podcast. Jim Cummings, and he's directing a new movie, and the trailer just dropped, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. Kyle,
How does it feel to be an All-American?
I gotta pay.
What?
It's Forrest Gump, classic.
Well, I really like Jim Cummings. I liked his last movie, Thunder Road, which you probably know. If we
I am
saw
Jim
it.
Cummings.
He looks a lot like Jim Cummings if you Google him.
Kim Jong-un.
So yeah, the trailer. He wrote and directed a horror. I guess it's technically like a horror comedy. It's
Yeah, I
kind of
think-
neither, but both at the
I think
same
it's a horror
time.
comedy.
You've seen the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm honestly excited. But I'm reasonably like, what's the word?
Timid?
Yeah, or that. It's classic. I'm always forgetting words on this
Scooby-Doo-bop-bop.
podcast.
You're cautious?
Cautious.
Yeah,
Cautious.
cautiously optimistic
play. I like that.
because, well, I mean, the last movie he played a cop and he's playing a cop again.
I like
You know what
cops.
Sid asked me when we watched the trailer together?
What's
Is
that?
it a sequel
She was like,
to
"Is this
Thunder
a
Road?
sequel to Thunder Road?"
It might as well be. I mean, he's a cop. He's having marriage issues.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
he's an alcoholic.
I mean,
like-
it's
it
funny.
definitely seems like a different character.
It's funny because like the only thing connecting it is he just is playing a cop again, but it's because he's only really been in 2 movies, like,
Right.
But and it's also because it's not just that he's a cop.
He doesn't have a mustache.
It's such in both movies. Him being a cop is like such an important part of
Yeah.
like it's not just a side thing.
But Gage.
But he doesn't have a mustache.
He doesn't have a mustache. It's
Hey,
different.
he doesn't have an accent.
He does
either.
look like really
Oh
different.
yeah. Is he American?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's American.
Oh wait, did they film in Canada? I heard something about Canada.
Canada.
Am I retarded?
Yeah.
a little bit, but that's
Alright.
okay. Are you talking about this new movie?
I'm from Canada, eh?
It's filmed in Utah.
Canada, Utah, they're the same.
Same shit.
Yeah.
I am surprised because I think it looks fucking awesome.
I think it looks
Well,
great.
I also am really excited. I think the trailer was cut together really well. I've
Yes.
probably seen it like
that's
10 times.
that's the thing. It's like I think the trailer is really
when is
good.
it coming out?
like October 9th. Like
It could go to Ellensburg. We might be able to see it in
Dude.
theaters. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Dude, that'd be great.
it's going to be
I-
streaming and in theaters.
Is that song in the trailer like an original song, or is that just like something that's already been like? Was that like
whores in this
Now,
house.
now, what do you mean by original song?
Was it made for the movie?
I'm not entirely sure.
It's so good.
It might be. I know you can listen to the full thing somewhere.
Certified freak.
That's not what we're
7 days
talking
a
about
week.
at all. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I am excited. I'm very excited to see what Jim Cummings does next. I guess this is his first studio movie, as he said. It's being released by Orion Pictures, and he stars in it. I think he's the lead, basically.
Oh, it's Orion Pictures?
Yeah,
They did Bill and Ted 3.
yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, his first studio movie.
So it should come out in theaters. I don't see why it wouldn't.
Robert Forster is his last film.
movie. Yep.
Famously, well, most modern audiences know him as the vacuum cleaner man, the guy from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So that means nothing to you because you don't
Jackie
watch
Brown?
TV.
I don't watch TV.
But he's a classic, movie actor.
Classic.
I really
Beep,
like
beep,
him.
boop, boop.
Yeah, and then one half of Garfunkel and Oates, that women music comedy duo. She's been in a bunch of stuff lately. She was in Under the Silver Lake. She was in, you know what I'm talking about? The girl. The
I
blonde
know.
girl.
I can picture her face.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of movies recently. So she's in that too.
I'm just really not into like werewolf movies and
This seems
stuff like
different,
that.
though.
But like, okay, what's super interesting about this movie is I watched Sleepy Hollow like right after I watched the trailer, and it seems super similar. But
yeah?
I feel like this movie is gonna do it way better. Like the whole denial thing of like the main character,
Yeah.
and like that's almost his arc in a sense, is like accepting the reality of it.
Well, here's the thing. You
I think I know what you're
my
gonna say.
Well, the thing is, I already think I know where the movie's going.
Yeah.
At least thematically speaking.
He's the
Okay.
werewolf.
Maybe, but
Yes,
honestly, it could be any of them. I could very easily see him being the werewolf. But I think thematically, you can already tell they're setting up something. Because Jim Cummings has described the character he's playing as just like a downright asshole. He's just a dick.
Which he seems like a really nice guy in real life. So
Yeah.
I'm like really excited to see
But
that.
like, I think that's part of it. Maybe it's like a metaphor for like, because throughout the movie he's like, oh no, it's a guy. It's not a monster. It's a guy. And then if him being the werewolf, he could, metaphorically, he could be talking about himself, and it's like coming to terms with the fact that like, oh, I am the monster. I am the asshole. Kind of thing.
It's one of those twists that like I'm okay if it's not like a surprise.
Yeah.
It's like cool enough to be like, it's fine. I love it.
Yeah.
I also like when people think of like terrible human beings like Hitler or whoever, or if there's ever like
No, I'm trying to see where you're going with
if
it.
there's
Yeah.
like a mass shooting or whatever, people don't like to see them as human, and they always go, oh, that's a monster, and then you think about them as a human being, and then
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit. So maybe it's like a really like hardcore metaphor for like everyone is a human being, even if on the like their
No,
actions
Yeah,
are
I
like,
actually, it sounded crazy when you started talking, but I know exactly what you're
okay,
saying.
good.
Even the most evil monsters are still
Yes,
human.
I didn't say it
So it's
super
like-
well, but you understand what I'm saying.
So it's like both answers are kind of right, but like you have to look past that.
But I mean, it's classic for like horror movies, like especially like classic like vampires, zombies, whatever, for there to be some sort of deeper meaning.
Yeah.
A ghost story. Ooh, let's eat pie for 15 minutes. Ooh, metaphor.
movies.
It's not easy being cheesy.
Okay. So yeah, Jim Cummings' new movie. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
We're
Tom.
trying to like.
I'm
sex
excited.
me.
We got to talk about that on this podcast.
And I'm glad that you guys are also excited.
Yeah.
I'm down to see it together. That'd be
I'm-
fucking sick.
I'm still a little hesitant. I'm just hoping that.
Hesitant?
I'm still a little hesitant. It's fine.
Can I just say a thing?
Go ahead.
Just a single.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you.
Just a single.
Say it.
Just
Say
one
it.
thing.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant because Jim Cummings has only directed one feature-length film, other than this. But it seems unique enough, and it has his own like kind of spin on it that I'm excited to see it. I also hope it does well financially,
Me too.
just for his sake. I'm also excited for the beta test, which he's also working on.
The beta test.
Yeah, it's gonna be like he plays like
A cop.
he plays like a Hollywood producer.
Ooh.
And it's like this. He gets some thing in the mail with like some no strings attached like sexual encounter thing like one time, and it sounds very like Eyes Wide Shut, kind of like a
that's
crazy.
right, you told me.
I've never
Yeah.
seen I'd Wide Shut.
Like sex cult secret
Oh,
stuff,
cool.
and it's
Okay.
down this rabbit hole mindfuck thing.
Okay.
Like I don't know, it sounds crazy.
I think The Wolf
excited.
of Snow Hollow definitely seems more like my kind of movie than Thunder Road. So I loved Jim Cummings' writing for Thunder Road, and I loved his acting. He's a phenomenal actor, but that story wasn't typically like my kind of story that entertains me. So I'm excited to see that exact same thing that he was able to bring to the table of Thunder Road, but for a story that I'm
Like a supernatural element.
yeah, that I'm super interested in.
I guess where I'm more hesitant, other than the obviously the repetitive shit with the cop, him playing a cop again.
His next movie's just called Cop.
But like,
Cops. I'm a cop.
you know, it's.
you
I don't
want?
think we've only ever seen him direct what he's directed, and then we haven't really seen him do any like horror stuff before. And you know, it's not you know, it's not easy to just like, all right, I'm gonna do a horror movie sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that he can nail the scares as much as like the laughs and the drama and shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Even if there's not necessarily scares and it's just kind of
Is it?
creepy.
but like
Do
if
we
the
know it's
werewolf,
rated R?
if the werewolf's
Yeah,
like,
it is.
I'm a werewolf.
yeah, it's rated R. But even if like again, if the werewolf stuff ends up being like really badly directed and just kind of cheesy, like it's very easy. I feel like for it to like fall on.
I also think it's the easy route for werewolf stuff is to make it cheesy, and I hope that they don't do that.
yeah.
I think that that's kind of just like, I don't know.
I don't know. Again, we only have like a little bit of an idea what the tone is like from the trailer, but it's still not entirely clear.
I'd ask you guys to pray with me if it wasn't for the goddamn
My
Lord.
favorite line.
I know, I love that too.
That's great. So, did you guys see the motorcycle stunt that Tom Cruise did for Mission Impossible 7?
Yes.
It's
Tom Cruise
he's going to kill himself.
has a death wish. I'm convinced.
All right, let me explain this to you guys. So there's a ramp off a cliff.
Okay.
There's a ramp off a cliff, and there's nothing like on the sides of the ramp. It's a long ass ramp, and there's nothing.
long is it?
It's long as shit.
Okay.
But there's no railings on the side to keep the motorcycle on. Like he could just fall off the edge, and it just goes off the side of a cliff. And so he goes as fast as he possibly can. He jumps off, goes straight up into the air, drops the motorcycle out of his hands. It falls to the earth and plummets. And then he's falling for a little while, and then he pulls a parachute.
And there's no harness.
There's no harness. There's nothing to. He
just does it.
He's just Tom Cruise, and he's
just Tom Cruise.
He's 58 years old. He's 2 years away from being 60, and this guy is jumping off motorcycles and pulling parachutes off of megadeth cliffs like it's nothing.
I'll have what he's having.
The next. What? This doesn't make any sense. You just randomly throw a movie quote in there.
I'm just imagining like a wine glass with like Scientology liquid in
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
it. Just like makes you immortal or some shit.
Yeah, he's crazy.
I love watching those movie installments of Tom Cruise tries to kill himself 7 or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah.
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 I don't even know how you go about that. Like, there's so much like logistic, bureaucratic insurance shit on big Hollywood movies.
I don't know.
How the fuck do you convince like an insurance company or a studio to let a main actor as famous as Tom Cruise do that?
Because
Think
he's
about-
the producer. Because he's like.
There you go. Okay.
But also think
All
about
right.
the transition. He started out small and gradually is just taking it up and up and up with
Yeah.
every one of them. And it's probably because he's like, I did this one good, you can trust me with this one. I did this one good, you
Yeah,
can trust me
yeah.
with this
It's not
one.
like he just went big,
And to
like
be
out
honest,
of nowhere.
Tom Cruise is probably better than most of your average stunt people anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Okay,
fuck.
but I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Cool.
Oh, I did remember what I was gonna say. So you remember Mission Impossible Fallout? There's that long chase with him on a motorcycle, and people are chasing him throughout. I think it's Paris. Originally, I watched the behind the scenes, and they had a harness like on the bike to keep him on, and the harness wasn't working. Like it was being defective and wasn't hooking onto the bike or whatever. And Tom Cruise, I remember the quote. He said, "Listen, my friend, we're running out of time. We need to shoot this, so I'm just gonna hop on that bike and go down this road and turn the corner as fast as this bike will let me." And like they had the harness, they had like things hooked up to the motorcycle. And he's like, "I'm gonna do it myself because it wasn't working and they're running out of time, and the director's like, all right, do it. So the fact that they can just do it without anybody being like, wait, we need to check the safety on this. They just do it.
Tom Cruise will go down as one of the greatest action actors of all time.
And he's gonna die giving us one of those movies.
That's gonna be so sad. I hate to like joke around about it, like, oh, he's gonna die doing a stunt. I think he like genuinely might actually.
I'm just
do
imagining
that.
like his tribute or something at the Oscars, like 20 years from now or something, if he's passed away at that point.
He better
Hopefully
get
not. But like, honestly, I think we take him for granted a little bit right now. Like the guy is just like,
He does
he's
so
got
much
stuff.
for us.
His filmography is.
He comes to my house. He feeds me.
He takes out my trash.
He wipes my ass.
God,
He gives me a bubble bath. I'm taking a shit, and I'm like, Tom, it's fine. I got it this time. No, and then he screams in my face. He's like, help me, help you.
Yeah. And then he says, "You complete me."
Yeah.
And then I start crying, and then he
And
cuddles me.
And then I complete on his face.
No,
yeah.
I love that guy. Like at the end of the behind the scenes thing I watched, he just goes, I don't know what to tell you. I just love movies. And he says he tries to watch a movie a day
Yeah.
and just how much he just loves. I know it sounds super cheesy and over the top and cringy, but he does it for us. He loves to make movies. And he loves movies.
we obviously love Tom Cruise.
Yeah, we love him.
Tom Cruise reminds me.
Even though he's a whack job sometimes.
Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves are like in that same category for me, where like their passion for cinema
I love
makes me
movies.
like love them and
Absolutely.
their movies, even if like, I could, because they just love the art form so much, and it's kind of rare. You don't really, we see a lot of actors who are just like, I do it for the sake of art and stuff like that, but it's rare that you find people who like actually just fucking love movies, and it's so cool. I just love it.
Yeah,
it's contagious.
There's also the Top Gun movie coming out.
Oh yeah.
He
Forgot about that.
apparently he just like, because they're actually flying like
He just learned how to fly one.
he taught his entire cast to be pilots.
What?
Like what?
Even Miles Teller? I can't wait. I love Miles Teller.
Like
I can't wait
he
to see
made
him.
them all become pilots for the movie. That's ridiculous.
I forgot. When is that coming out?
I don't know because they keep
Christmas.
pushing the date
Christmas.
back.
I believe it's Christmas.
Sad. That's right. Mm-hmm. God damn.
There's gonna be a lot of shit
What a
coming out
man.
on Christmas.
What a man.
All right.
What a man,
You guys
what a-
want to go from like really happy to like pissed off like really
Yeah.
quick? I hope you guys are pissed off with me. I really do.
Are we talking about the same thing?
No, I don't
So they're bringing back Amber Heard for Aquaman 2.
Definitely not.
And I'm not okay with that in the slightest.
Okay.
Do you guys know about that shit?
Kinda.
How basically so
Like I don't know enough to like.
Amber Heard accused like Johnny Depp of physical abuse.
Oh.
And then apparently it was like flipped and it was like, oh no, like Johnny Depp has like scars and like
So that's
proof.
his wife that he's been with.
Yeah. And so she's apparently like thrown shit at him and has been emotionally abusive, and there's been like videos and shit.
Something with his finger getting chopped off.
Yeah, his finger apparently got chopped off, and so she was like being sued, and there was question about whether she would come back to Aquaman 2, and I guarantee you because that's the thing, when they thought it was Johnny Depp, they were like, oh, we don't want to work with him, he's not working again. Which pisses me off is this shit comes out about Amber Heard, and then they're just like, you want your spot back in Aquaman 2? Here you go. Yeah. Like, no, that's not okay. You can't have that double standard.
Yeah, I mean, I think there definitely is a double standard when it comes
Amber
to like,
Heard needs to be blacklisted from Hollywood. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I think there really is like
Go
a
fuck
double
yourself.
standard when it comes. Yeah, I think there really is like a
No,
double
I don't.
standard.
I don't think she should be blacklisted. I don't think anybody should, unless like you know what I mean. Like I don't know.
I just don't think it's fair that
I know it's not fair. I think that like I don't want Johnny Depp to be blacklisted unless like, I mean, I don't know. It's just like if you get in trouble and the law finds you guilty, you should pay the consequences. Mm-hmm.
It's not illegal to be just an asshole.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's the thing. It's like if Johnny Depp like slapped her and like was an alcoholic, fuck, I don't think he should be thrown out of Pirates of the Caribbean 57.
That's
like,
still his job.
Whatever.
That's what he
it's
does
just
for a
I don't
living.
hate that she's being put back on. I hate the double standard
Yeah,
of
me
her
too.
being put back on
Yeah.
when so many other I hate to make this a gender thing, but it really is when so many other male actors have legit been straight up blacklisted.
It's totally clear. It's totally clear. I mean, there is a double standard, and I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things where if you break the law, you know, you should face the consequences, and it shouldn't. I don't know. It's kind of a hard thing to talk about. Like, the only time it's like if you flee the country and you don't pay the consequences that I think
feel like I know.
you
Careful.
should be.
You were tipping
Yeah,
the thing.
sorry.
How are we looking on time?
We got an hour and
We're way
11
in.
minutes.
We're
Can
way
this
in.
episode just be news?
We'll see. Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was saying. Forget it.
Sorry, you were knocking over the mic.
it's
I didn't
okay.
mean to distract you.
I was just basically hinting at
pay your consequence. Oh, the guy
the Roman
that
Polanski thing.
yeah.
Where it's like, that's my only thing where I think that, like, I refuse to watch your shit
dude, I respect that.
because...
Sounded.
Dude, I respect that. Because don't, I know what you're gonna do, but don't do it.
I'm not doing
Okay.
anything, but I
Don't
know.
do it.
We all know. That's
Yeah.
what matters.
So,
Oh, I just got it.
yeah. Inside joke, we're all good.
It's a joke. Dude, I respect that. I totally respect that.
Hey guys, come on.
Here's something.
Show some
The
respect.
Jeepers Creepers director went to prison, and look this up and double check. I'm not gonna
He
say
did go
this
to
is-
prison. I
He
know
went to
that.
prison for
Jesse,
child
get on this.
molestation.
Oh, shit.
He
Yikes.
apparently molested a child. This is from what the information that I've seen, and he went to prison. And when he got out of prison, he made Jeepers Creepers 2 and 3.
No, he had already made 2. I'm
So
pretty
he
sure it
made
was just
3.
3. Yeah.
Okay, so
How long
see,
is he in prison for?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was a while because there was at least a solid decade.
So
before
here's
the
my
third one
thing.
came out.
Here's my thing, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't know a whole lot about this specific example, but on paper, I'm okay with watching this guy's movies, even though yes, he did a despicable thing, but he paid the consequences, and I don't feel like a shitty person for, like, I guess, quote unquote, supporting him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not necessarily supporting him, but watching the art that he creates. Whereas, like, somebody who doesn't pay the consequences and is a
they
coward,
run
then
away.
I'm not
Yeah.
watching his shit.
Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got something on my throat.
So, Amber Heard, I
don't
don't know.
There's just a lawsuit going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's gonna have to pay any consequences whatsoever.
Like you said, you don't need to break the law to be a fucking piece of shit. So, kind of said that.
Wait.
You said something similar to
Well, I
that.
said it's not illegal to be an asshole.
It's not
is what
illegal
I
to be
said.
an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also heard a lot of people where they're such great actors that them being an asshole is kind of not a problem. Christian Bale.
I mean, we only know that based on one tape. So I don't
I've
think
heard a
that's
lot
fair.
of people say things about him, but
I know, but you also think Mel Gibson is a piece of shit, so
I've come around on that.
I don't know. I've only seen that one. I think it's unfair to base your
Yeah.
opinion on a
I
person.
love Christian
off
Bale.
of
He's
one.
literally one of my favorite actors. So if for Christian Bale ever watches this for any reason, I love you. I'm just
See, that's the thing. I'm not gonna jump the gun and be like Amber Heard's a fucking bitch because I don't even know.
yeah.
First off, I don't know enough about the actual story. Second, even if I did know everything and she did, like, abuse Johnny Depp and stuff, I'd be like, yeah, that's really shitty, but I also don't know her in person
Yeah.
at all. I mean, sometimes if you gather enough stuff, you can kind of decide, yeah, I don't really think I like this person based on what I know. But it has to be, like, enough to warrant that, I think. I mean, I do think it's a little annoying that, like, they're willing to just completely brush over that.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. What about Ezra Miller? Is Ezra Miller still at the Flash?
I still don't even know what
So-
happened there.
I don't think anybody does, but based on the footage, he just, like, pushed a fan over or something.
Choke somebody.
Choke somebody.
Okay,
But-
so here's what happened. A lot of people were saying he was doing it as a joke. Like he was holding her by the neck and
Kind of seemed like it was from the clip.
put her like to the ground, and it was such a short clip with no context.
Yeah.
like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I can totally see like if
weird.
if he felt comfortable with the fan and was like ha 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 and like
I don't know.
I don't know.
If it wasn't... I don't know. Weird sense of humor, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I whatever.
We know a little something about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I do think it is annoying though, like when everybody was like pointing fingers at Johnny Depp, then all of a sudden his career's over and everything.
And then people
There's like some there's some weird there's some weird people hate a lot of people hate Johnny Depp for like reasons that I don't understand.
I think honestly it's just he's been in so many things. It's just like they got exhausted of seeing him, and I can see that.
I think it's like a bunch of people probably heard he was abusive and then didn't follow up on their research.
Oh my gosh, it's like someone just read a headline and believed it and
No
based their
fucking
whole...
way.
That's a completely other conversation. We could do a whole podcast.
They
on
didn't
that.
wait for context?
That's
no
crazy.
Way. No fucking way.
That-
Get their news from Twitter,
CNN?
No way. No
Fox
way.
News. I just had to keep it. You know. You
No,
gotta-
Fox News is the truth. I'm just kidding.
Both. You know.
They're both biased. One less biased than the other, but I'm not biased.
You know how you get your unbiased information? As soon as there's a national tragedy, you go down to that place and you see for yourself. What's that? A volcano and wherever erupted?
Let's go.
Time to pack my swim.
Careful, buddy.
CNN saying this is a right-wing conspiracy.
That's the end of the news.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. We have one other thing that we have to
The
talk
main
about
thing.
because everybody and their mom's talking about it.
Chris Evans' penis?
No,
Close. Cuties.
Oh,
we have to have this discussion,
all right.
even though it's uncomfortable.
I hate people that are justifying it.
So okay.
You guys haven't actually seen the movie, though.
full context.
Well, clarification. You are the only one, I think, out of all three
Yeah.
of us that's actually seen
I didn't
it.
even want to watch it.
I
Watched
didn't
it-
either.
I watched it so you guys...
Thank you.
Well,
have to.
okay, I didn't see it, but I saw. Again, I don't want to be like
Did you hear that? I've seen the movie.
the FBI is gonna come to your door.
so what do you
immediately.
think about
I've
it?
seen the
How do
movie.
you feel about it first and foremost?
Oh, God, you want me to, like, sum up how I feel about Cuties in a
Yeah.
sentence?
Yep.
Fucking...
And me.
It's so hard to, like, figure out. I mean, it's a pretty good cliche movie with, like, a handful of just disgusting sequences. Mm-hmm. It's the best thing I can say.
That's pretty much what I gathered. I haven't seen the movie in full, but I've seen the scenes that people are the most upset about, and like I was like, okay, I've seen enough.
Yeah, it took like 30 minutes in. I was like,
Nothing you
or like 20 minutes in, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm not really sure yet.
Do you think it's enough to that it should warrant it being taken off of Netflix?
I don't know. I mean,
So it's borderline. You're not even saying like, oh, for sure, this is atrocious. This needs to go.
I just don't know what it's the difference between I think it's disgusting and is it illegal, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I
Can we clarify though for the like two people that have no idea what we're talking about?
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So okay, I guess I'll.
yeah, the two people who haven't heard about Cuties.
Yeah.
I hadn't. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Up until like this few days ago,
Well,
I had
it's
no
kind
idea.
of been it's been slowly building steam, and now everyone's talking about it. So Cuties is and I want to make this perfectly clear because a lot of people are saying that they're because of the controversy of this movie. That people are it's hashtag cancel boycott Netflix. How dare Netflix make this movie? I'm not justifying that Netflix has this movie in their catalog. I just want to like get the facts straight of like this was a foreign film, a French film that played at some film festival in France and won some awards, and Netflix picked it up for distribution.
So it's not like Netflix.
No,
made it.
Netflix.
It's not an
didn't pay-
original.
Netflix didn't pay. Well, it's technically a Netflix original, but it's just a distribution thing.
Okay.
Just so that's a clarification. If you don't know what Cuties is, I guess the plot of the movie is, well, maybe you could explain that better than I can.
Plot of the movie is essentially a little girl, 11-year-old girl who, I think she's in like she's like in a Muslim family. I think
Islamic
family. Thank you.
Canceled.
Done.
We're very well.
And she, I don't know, sees this dance group at her school and wants to join really bad and joins and dances and waves her vagina around. And that's the movie.
Jesus.
What?
I mean, that's definitely an accurate
No,
description.
I read that. That was the synopsis on IMDb.
An 11-year-old girl joins a dance team and rubs her vagina.
So, Yeah, I guess it's sort of like her family's very conservative. You know, they come from a culture.
I hate that word because
I know, not Republican.
I know. I hate.
But
that
like
word
literally,
so much.
literally conservative is it? And
I
like
know.
They're
What it
Trump
actually
supporters.
no,
They want to conserve
they're from
traditions.
they're from a culture of like women aren't allowed to show their bodies; they have to be covered up. You know.
Oh, Islamic. Yeah,
such a
isn't that the one where they
weird-
literally have to cover
Yeah.
like their hair and shit?
It's such a
Yeah.
weird thing because politics are going to get brought up into this. It's
I don't think they need to.
no.
but-
They with this conversation they absolutely will no matter what. I promise you.
All right.
But just to get this out of the way, I found this very confusing. It's just like because conservatives, Republicans are very they critique, you know, the Muslim religion. Is that correct?
That's-
and
I mean-
and the way they treat women all the time, and you see like the left try to justify, you know, because it's like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's every culture's different, which is in itself a weird contradiction because
You see a lot of people on the left supporting the movie.
no,
For
but
the it's like I see where you're going.
and
with
also
it.
because conservatives are very freedom of religion,
Mm-hmm.
but they're critical of this specific religion because of the way it treats women, and you see a lot.
Not
of,
only that, there are a lot of other issues too. Like they literally like condemn gay people and like kill them.
well, yeah.
So it's not just the women thing.
Exactly. And then you see like the left kind of being critical of like the Christian religion in America all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, I would say it's a little bit more consistent on the right side because it's like, well, this is why we don't support this religion because of their beliefs or whatever. Anyway, but then like you said, it's strange because you see a lot of conservatives saying the movie because it in a lot of ways critiques the Muslim religion. And I actually enjoyed those aspects of it.
Yeah, what the movie's trying to do, and I think obviously it fails horribly. That's why people are talking about it. Is it's trying to like tell the story of this girl's almost like discovering. Again, according to the synopsis of the movie, this isn't me. I know she's 11, but this is what the movie is. It's like discovering her sexuality a little bit and stuff. The only thing is she's not 17, she's not 16, she's 11. And this group of girls, they're like 11 to 13. And I think there is a way to tell that story in a very careful and precise way.
8th grade.
8th grade that doesn't potentially exploit children.
I don't remember like
Yeah.
seeing her ass very much in that movie.
No. Well, the thing is, I'm trying to like explain this to still people who have no idea what we're talking about because we haven't
Did
really.
she like hump, like dry hump a lot in that movie, or like?
Well, one thing I appreciated
Rub-
about 8th grade is it did explore sexuality a little bit and like the uncomfortableness of it when the guy was like in the car with her like, hey, why don't you take off your shirt? And it like got really weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, this is the kind of stuff that girls have to experience. But it doesn't exploit the girl in the process of doing that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a good.
So
way to put
I
it.
really appreciate that about 8th grade is it's very real and true. And yet...
So people are, I agree.
No, yeah, go
I
ahead.
agree. And again, everything was, they didn't do anything that like warranted an FBI investigation, which I think, or
Is Cuties really warranting?
They're
I think-
thinking about it.
I think, they're talking about it. But again, it's for people who have no idea what we're talking about, because we haven't really
movies.
said, so just to clarify, okay, I'm sorry, this is all over the place.
It's okay.
But, okay, just to sort of bounce off what you're saying, Gage, of like, it definitely is very polarizing right now. There's a lot of people
in a lot of ways.
there's a lot of people justifying the movie, saying it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, it's supposed to make you feel uneasy.
It's a critique of.
And even if that's the case, I think there's a way to do that without sexualizing young girls. And I mean, I feel like a lot of the people who are critiquing the movie either haven't seen it or aren't really thinking about like the logistics of what they're watching, because and I think a lot of people justify it because it's like, oh, it's not just straight up child porn, you know, the message of the movie is this. But if you've seen the movie or the scenes that I've seen, once you see how the execution of when it's the scenes of the girls and they're dancing around and they're and they're being free, like you can just feel in the pit of your stomach.
This is wrong.
Yeah,
It's like two different movies. It feels like maybe
it does.
It's because these scenes are so. I mean, it's literally these girls are fucking 11 to 13 and they're twerking in front of the camera.
Yeah.
There is
The camera
there
guy
is
is
a-
trying to give the women or the girls. I shouldn't say women, little girls, children, like fucking colonoscopies with the camera. Like the camera guy's filming it in a certain way that's like it's almost like a porn shoot, and the girls are like doing like to
There's
the
a whole
camera,
twerking montage, like that goes on for like a.
and they're
couple
not just
minutes.
twerking; they're like
Humping
pressing.
the
They're like
ground.
doing literally. This is not hyperbole. Like Nicki Minaj shit. And this is supposed to be empowering to women and little girls. It's fucking disgusting.
What I don't understand is I've seen a lot of the reviews, especially on Letterboxd and stuff, where people are like, if this grosses you out or if you don't like this, you need to grow up and you need to become mature, and this is just how girls explore their sexuality. And I'm like, no. I'm sorry, but no. This is, I don't care if it's a girl. I don't care if a girl wants to show some skin. I don't care if it's a boy. I don't want to see a 10-year-old boy in a thong in any movie. I don't want to see a little girl like that. Because here's the thing. I don't see a lot of young boys and girls at that age actually exploring their sexuality. You know, I don't think it's until you reach about 8th grade, high school, which is, I mean, I guess you said there were some 13-year-olds where that's actually true.
It's very strange that you scroll through Letterboxd for 5 minutes. It's very strange that you are such a fucking piece of shit for not being very happy about
Yeah.
what the movie does. Why am I a piece of shit for thinking this is wrong?
Why do we even teach younger children to wear clothes, to cover up their private areas? Because those are your personal, things. Those aren't for other people to see, touch, whatever. Why are we just reverting backwards?
don't
Why are
think
we
it-
just showing...
Well, okay. This is becoming more of like a political ideology discussion, which is okay. But I just want to come at this from like a little bit of a, more of a me being like a centrist sort of thing. I am open to movies about not as young as 11 for fuck's sake, but like teenagers in high school and
Eighth grade.
Yeah, 8th grade is a perfect example. She's discovering your sexuality. She's discovering who she is. She's going through puberty. She's got all these weird feelings. But the actual way they made the movie is not exploitive. It's not
exactly.
disgusting. It doesn't feel like it's an excuse to get somebody. There's no 8th grade sex scene.
Exactly.
There's almost a uncomfortable scene, but it's they handled it with care.
Absolutely.
They handled it with reservation.
Here's the thing about the movie. There is no script problems. The movie on paper is fine.
like critically speaking, like acting.
On paper, the
Writing.
movie works. You give me the script, I make it. It's a little awkward and uncomfortable certain parts, but it's you know, it has some important messages that could be like good. It's the direction and the dance sequences that are like you said, it feels like a different movie.
I mean, the execution
it's like
yeah.
It's literally going from like an 8th grade style movie where you're like watching this girl like discover who she is to oh fuck yeah, like that's it's like that big of a transition. It's the energy changes,
Yeah.
the tone changes. It doesn't feel like it definitely not one single fucking time you don't feel like what you're watching is wrong or the movie thinks it's wrong or the director thinks it's wrong. It's very much like during these dance sequences, it wants you to you're supposed to be enjoying yourself.
It's like they're trying to get you to get turned on by little kids.
If
100%.
If the movie
And
if the director wanted me to feel uncomfortable during that scene, like
She
if
did
that
a
was
horrible
their
job.
like I mean, obviously I'm gonna be uncomfortable
Well,
no
yeah.
matter what, but it definitely didn't. It seemed like she thought it was like fun. Like look at how fun this is. The dancing is so cool. It did not feel like it was a critique at all.
It made you. It was like the camera guy and the director wanted you to get turned on by these children. Basically.
I honestly, it was almost like it wanted me to feel happy for these people.
Do you know what the sad
and,
thing is?
Support it, kind of.
I bet you there are some dudes out there that like are actually enjoying it.
And that's why people are pissed about it, because it's like you've given pedophiles something that they can.
But then there are people who will flip it on its head and be like, well, if you sexualize it, then you're the person that's doing wrong. You know, this is supposed to be normalized, and you're not supposed to be the one that sexualizes thoughts about it.
That's the whole thing. It's like I've been saying for a couple of years that like by the time we have children, that the whole pedophile thing will. And this is not a conspiratory thing at all.
Yeah.
We're seeing it happen right before our eyes. I don't think this is part of some pedophile agenda. That's not what I'm saying. I don't necessarily believe that the director is a pedophile at all or anything like that. I don't believe the people involved were pedophiles or that this was made so pedophiles could have something to fucking watch and, you know, whatever. But I'm saying this is that transition where we're starting to be like, oh, what? Why is this wrong, huh? It's that pushing over the edge slowly but surely, one thing at a time. And this is that very small thing at the beginning that we need to push against, because if we have to win all these little battles so, you know, that the war isn't lost. And that sounds really overdramatic, but it's true.
One thing...
It's getting pushed and pushed and pushed
I also
farther.
do want to... I don't want to cut you off, but I also do want to make a point that a big part of this is also, like, the... just the cultural differences. Because this was made in France. And I'm pretty sure in France, the age of consent is as low as, like, 14. And when they showed it in France, reportedly, like, nobody
Which
had
I think some of the girls are actually that age of consent in France. Yeah. So that's one of the ways they try to justify it.
And nobody had an issue with it in France. It's only in America that it's... And it's
Was the movie in French?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's weird. It's not... I'm not justifying it. I want to make that perfectly clear, but it creates an interesting discussion about... our values and other people's values in other countries.
I think laws can be morally wrong.
I don't want to...
Personally.
Yeah.
I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but I'm just speaking my thoughts. I don't understand how we can live in a time where a lot of people think that there is like a rape culture, or like where women are being attacked sexually and all that, and then like people like us are trying to protect young girls from being sexualized like that, and suddenly we're the bad people. When
it's very strange.
It just feels like a contradiction in my head.
I mean, a lot of the reviews that I'm seeing, it's
people forcing their agendas
onto
it.
It's if you dislike Cuties, then you dislike it because the director is a black female.
No,
I'm not trying to like.
I didn't even
do
know that.
But like I've read at least 5 or 6 reviews.
And
those are like the top reviews.
See, that's the thing. I didn't even know it was a black woman.
Completely asinine.
Yeah. So that's
clearly that is not why people have an issue with it.
Yeah. And then for some reason,
if you believe that, you are psychotic.
You're just
sorry.
some conservative who watches Fox News.
Do you know what's absolutely hilarious?
Why?
I don't even think we need to politicize this at all.
Why do you have to be a white conservative to
not like pedophilia?
Yeah. Here's my rebuttal. If a white man made Cuties, I'd be even more concerned. So fuck off. You know? It has nothing to do with the fact that she's a black woman at all.
I didn't even know that. So that's just proof right there.
Here's another question: do you think people would be as defensive about the movie if it was a quote unquote white male, like you said?
No, I think it would honestly be universally hated.
I agree.
Yeah.
So get out of here.
Yeah.
With that critique, you know? I mean, here's the big thing. It's like, is it critiquing the sexualization of children? Well, as somebody who's seen the movie, I can say I don't think it is. I think it actually tries harder to critique the Muslim religion for like 90% of the movie. And then at the very end, that last 10%, it's finally like, oh shit, we have to like say that we don't want to do this. But it's feel forced. It's too late, you know? And even then, it doesn't justify everything that happened. Now, that brings the discussion, is it okay to be what you're criticizing? Well...
What do you mean?
Is it okay to be what you're criticizing? Is it okay to if you're like they came together, it's
Oh,
making
I see.
fun of
I see.
making fun of romantic comedies.
Yeah.
But in the same vein, it is one. You know,
Mm-hmm.
is it okay to be what you're criticizing? And I think that a lot of times it is okay. But when we're talking about looking at children's, like, if sexualizing children is a completely different situation.
Yeah.
It's the difference between art and potentially breaking the law and
Yeah.
being morally just wrong. I think a good example of a movie being what it's criticizing is like American History X, which is like taking a look at like hatred and totally awful people.
Yeah.
And it's and we're looking into that world, but it's clear that the person, it's clear that like it's wrong, and I think that that's a really good example, and I don't think Cuties did it well at all.
Well, this has been kind of floating around in my mind. What about things like Salo or a Serbian film where they're like,
Yeah.
like, what do you think of, like, are they in the same category where it's just like,
Yeah, well, people have been having that. It's created an interesting discussion. Like, an example that I bring up, and a lot of people do, is, I don't think you guys have seen it, the movie Kids from 1995. I mean, it's basically a movie about a bunch of, like, teenagers giving each other HIV.
oh,
Like, it's very disturbing. There's a few scenes where it's like, and I don't know if the act, but it's showing a lot of stuff that's like probably did happen back in the 90s, like, but it's how they show it, and it's kind of like, well, is that in the same vein? Is that okay? I think it's kind of a complicated gray thing. Like, where do we draw the line with? Because I think obviously none of us are offended by like disturbing subject matter in movies. But
Yeah.
it's when the making of the movie is going into immoral or illegal
territory.
or just plain like gross. Like, I don't think anybody, technically speaking, did anything illegal French wise in the movie, but I think enough people just feel disgusting about it. And obviously in America, the reason that America is a thing is we have different values, and I think that would be enough personally with the outrage and shit. It would be enough to like either warrant taking it off of Netflix, or, and I also think this is a good idea, but you're the only one who's seen the movie, so you're the only one who could say that this would be possible for them to re-release the movie but with those scenes cut out of it.
is that
Do
possible?
you think that would the movie would even be watchable?
or what if you
Or
just,
do you think it's just so baked in?
what if they just refilmed it, but with them dancing, but not like twerking and like humping the ground?
See, it'd be
and-
another story if those girls were like actually like 18, but they just look young.
Yeah.
But the fact that they are actually children, I think it makes a lot of people, including
Yeah.
myself, just feel disgusted. And even if they were adults, the way that the movie, like we said, frames these scenes, it's obviously like they want you to try to get turned on by these children. Like 100%. You can't argue that.
It's just.
But if you do, you're wrong.
It's
You're
hard.
bad.
It's hard because I want to be as consistent as possible, because like I love movies like American History X, Joker, stuff like that. That's like
Yeah.
that's really taking a look at things that are wrong.
But nobody actually killed anybody
Yeah.
in the making of Joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's like, and like Salo and a Serbian film, which I haven't seen yet, but I really want to watch them. Salo, for instance, it's like, okay, that's like borderline torture porn. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, so why is that different from this movie? And I think where you draw the line is children.
Well, okay, so
And I think
Well,
that's,
also in Salo, nobody's actually eating shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're all consenting adults who legally. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I assume at some point they're nude or something.
Yeah.
and they're all consenting adults who are okay with this. And I mean, I'm sure those girls were okay with it for whatever reason. But you're still sexually exploiting children.
I've read enough about the making of Salo, even though I haven't seen it.
It'd be
They
like-
were pretty considerate, careful,
Okay.
like they should.
Yeah.
the best way I can describe the problem with this movie is a review that I read that is actually quoting somebody from Twitter. So it's like, but I
You're
mean,
more so talking about like the politics and the commentary.
the
around
reason
the movie.
the problem with Cuties is this. This guy says, and he's quoting somebody from Twitter, so I don't know who the fuck said this, but it's so fucking true. You don't teach kids not to do drugs by giving them black tar heroin. And that is, like, everything you need to know right there. It'd be like a movie critiquing drug use.
Yeah.
And they're giving the actors drugs so that they're actually high in the movie. That's what it is. And it's hard to find things to compare it to, really. Like, I've been saying American History X and Salo, but honestly, you can't. It's honestly not even compatible.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what a lot of people, and I'm gonna. It's gonna sound like I'm going on a weird tangent, but I promise it all comes back.
Okay.
The way I see it, of like, because people are like, oh, well, what about these other movies? Way worse things happen.
Yeah.
But I would say it's different because, okay, it is obviously. Let's talk about video games for a second. It is very obvious that a lot of people have made the comparison, even though it's there time and time again. They've shown that violent video games or movies or material does not equate to real world violence, and we like to have that discussion of like why we as humans we like to watch violence in media and stuff like that. Funny Games is all about that.
I was thinking that. Yep.
But I think my argument for why I don't personally see anything wrong, I don't think you're going to go out and shoot somebody if you watch a movie where a bunch of people get shot. I don't think humans operate that way.
I love Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. But like, I
so
think
fun.
what makes that different is because the majority of us, assuming that we aren't mentally ill in some way, are like can tell the difference between, you know, I mean, I'll use myself as an example. I, for the most part, am totally okay seeing people get their heads ripped off in movies and with guts flying everywhere and blood and sex scenes and what violence, people, racial, whatever, in fictional media. But I have, in my personal life and in other forms of media that are not fictitious, I've almost purposefully gone out of my way to not look at, like, war footage and stuff because I know it's not fake.
This is gonna sound.
And I think most people feel that way, and I think it's a similar thing with Cuties, where it's doing what it's trying to avoid, and people know
It's too real.
It's it's not simulated like little girls sexually dancing. They're actually minors, and it's
Yeah. I think that's a good point.
I think that again. I think that's what makes it different between movies that portray things, even if it's in a fictional manner, way worse technically speaking. But the fact that it's actual children actually being exploited, actually shaking their asses around, in tight clothes, showing their skin, and the vibe of the scenes that they're in where they're doing that is very like, whoa, look at.
I mean,
it's gross.
The fact that the FBI is even considering looking into it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Like when the FBI has to consider looking into your film.
I mean, they auditioned 700 other kids for those roles.
Think about that.
It's a little gross. It's not a little gross. I can't even comprehend that. So somewhere in France.
How do you pick the children for the movie? Do you just have them come in and wave their asses around and then you go, I like that one.
That one's got the biggest butt. Come here.
That's what we're dealing with.
I can't. Ugh.
Yeah.
So gross.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah. So I mean that's the problem in a nutshell.
I mean,
not sure.
I think it's created a lot of controversy and a lot of people disagreeing with each other. I can still see why, because it's not as like cut and dry. It's like, okay, Netflix, whatever, probably got word of the movie in France doing well, but France isn't America, and it's not that
Wait,
I'm
what?
just
Did you say France is in America?
Isn't America.
Oh, I was like,
And
what?
obviously French people. Their culture's different.
Don't shave their armpits. I'm just kidding.
I mean, anyway. and they have different values than us, does that make picking up the film and distributing it here illegal? I don't know the answer to that, but it is an interesting discussion.
I mean, Roman Polanski can still release his movies here, even though
Yep.
he's like a wanted pedophile. So,
But he's not making child porn, at least that we've seen, and
Yeah.
releasing it.
but he
to
still
the-
did something
theatrically.
morally wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, just as a lot of people view this movie made in France did something morally wrong, and yet it's still able to. Roman Polanski and this movie obviously are still able to.
And
Produce
I think
it
it's
in
hard
America.
because, again, you're the only one who's seen the movie, and from what I understand, there's not any actual like nudity, but those scenes are just so uncomfortable and obviously like
There is some
Yeah.
nudity, but not from the children.
okay.
Of course.
And but the director said she wants little kids to see it, even though it's
What?
yeah
Is that what she said? Because I don't know who the fuck this movie was made for.
yeah.
Who is this? That's one of my questions. Is this made for children?
I mean, if there's nudity of
Yeah, I
grown-
don't.
That's what I'm saying. If there's nudity of grown people and they want children to see this, what is the point of any of us wearing clothes? Like, you know, I just don't. I can't comprehend
if Cuties
it.
was made for children, it might be like one of the worst movies ever made. Then, because like I don't know what you expect children to learn from this.
I mean, it has a TVMA rating on
yeah.
Jeez.
on Netflix,
Okay, but
but also if the I know what you mean.
the main character learns like essentially nothing. Their critique of the sexualization of children is that she starts crying in the final dance
it kind of feels like a cop out
and leaves the dance, and that is all. She hears her mother's voice talking while she's doing the final
Like
dance
in her head?
Yeah, and then leaves.
Yeah.
What do you expect children to take from that? Like, I'm not sure. That doesn't say that everything she did was wrong. And she also does a lot of shitty things too that like she takes no responsibility for whatsoever. All of her actions have no consequences essentially. I mean, it's very strange. I don't, and if it's made for adults, like I don't know what
Yeah.
the fuck. I don't know. I honestly feel like if you showed little girls this movie, they would have the exact opposite reaction. They would honestly start
Yeah.
sexualizing and
Yeah.
want to be in
I wanna
dances
do
and
that,
stuff. Yeah,
you know.
But I also feel like the movie is also trying to, albeit poorly, trying to make a comment of like, and this does happen. We can't necessarily speak for it
Yeah.
because we're obviously three grown men sitting across from each other, but I do know
Hey, I'm 20.
Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Have it live on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
None of us are teenagers anymore.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It's not that great.
Okay.
Anyway, God damn it! What the
I'm
fuck
sorry.
Was I
I'm
talking
sorry. I don't
You
mean
do
that.
this so much to
I'm
me,
sorry.
Mike. You do this. It's okay. This is the longest episode.
I
of
don't
all
care.
time.
It's fun.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it.
All right. Okay. What was I saying? Help me.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I also feel like the movie is trying to have this like, oh well, you know, these girls they see these models on social media and they're all nude and they're getting all these likes and they learn from a very young age, and I feel like that is part of the movie a little bit, but it's very unclear where the movie stands, if it's pro that or if it's against that. And the way that it's executed, again, this is coming from someone who hasn't seen the whole movie, but I've read enough about it. I've seen the scenes that gross people out. It almost feels like all of that, it comes off like almost, and if this was intentional, it was poorly executed, obviously, but it almost comes off like all that shit was like an excuse so they could shoot those scenes and be like, no, we're against that. And then they throw softcore child porn in there.
I'm genuinely curious because you're the only one.
Would you
that's-
agree with me? You're the only one who's seen it.
I'm genuinely curious. Can you make the same movie without the scenes being like they are now?
Yeah.
So they weren't necessary at all to be like that. You can still get the same message across.
Yeah, I mean, what you do is you don't film their assholes while they're dancing, and you don't
Seems pretty easy.
dress them in spandex and shit. I mean, you can.
Oh, so they're wearing like skin tight stuff.
Oh my god, dude!
Have you seen the poster?
There's a fucking. There is one of the.
It looks
scenes,
like toddlers and tiaras.
the scenes on the staircase. There's a scene on a staircase where they are dancing, and like, I would have been like, whew, if they were adults. Like, they were, like, fucking throwing their legs up in the air. Like, I mean, 2 inches of fabric is like, protecting our eyes from seeing things that you would never be able to unsee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's that, like, I was just like, what the fuck am I watching? Why are we, what was the question?
Oh, if I just asked
if you could make the same
movie without those scenes.
So you just don't film it like, it's hot.
Like it's a music video.
Like it's a music video,
Like
and
a
you
Cardi
don't,
B music
and you don't dress them up like whores. I mean, it's kind of a part of the story is like the fact that they are like, you know, trying to dress older than their age, but you don't have to take it so far. We get the fucking point.
It takes it to such a degree that it's almost like, all right, it doesn't matter what you were going
you
for.
need to stop slut shaming.
God. Yeah, I mean, it's so much. I don't even know where to begin. I feel like we haven't even
It's
scratched
just
the surface.
so interesting because I feel like over time, like over long periods of time, like generations, the age in which we sexualize people like just seems to drop and drop and drop. Like, you know, like there was a time I remember seeing an image of someone in the 50s and they had to measure from their knee up to where their swimsuit started to make sure it wasn't too short, and it was like barely above their knee. And like it's so interesting that within 50 years, I guess now 70 years, holy cow, 70 years, we're now okay with 11-year-olds like with skin tight stuff, being just dancing very sexually.
But remember, this is in France too. This is you know.
Yeah,
but of course,
I mean, we're probably not far behind. America probably isn't that far behind.
We are starting
starting
to have that discussion of there are some people that want to justify pedophilia, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I do want to just like make the record. This isn't just a like. There are plenty of people on the left, as much as the right, that are like, okay, no, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just so we're clear, but it is starting to kind of peek its head around, and we need to make sure that we're like hitting it on the head. Because here's the thing. Of course, obviously, we live in America, and our consensual laws is 18.
I thought age of consent was 16.
Oh, I guess age of consent is actually age of consent is 16 in Washington State.
Interesting.
Specifically,
I didn't know that.
Although I think there's even some weird
loopholes and stuff.
Not loopholes, but there's, you know, reservations to that. And regardless, federally speaking, where we're from, you know, 18 is sort of like the all right, that's technically legal, you know, and I don't know where the fuck I was going with that.
I know, it's like, where do you draw the line morally
right.
wrong?
And I think where we draw the line just based on our values.
It's just so interesting because someone can be 17 years old in 364 days and like, oh, you can't sexualize them, that's gross. Like Billie Eilish, for example, as soon as she turned 18, people were like, oh, now she's hot and we can sexualize. And I was like, just because of one day, now suddenly it's like, now we can, you know,
I know.
Ugh, it's weird.
Laws sometimes have to help us decide what is acceptable and what isn't, but sometimes those laws just aren't accurate. I feel like 18 is a good place. I think 16 is too young, and I think fucking whatever it is in France is too young. Obviously,
here's the thing,
and I think some cultures.
I mean, it's even lower in like places like I think Japan or China.
I have a little brother who's 10, and if I saw him near any girls like that, I would immediately be like, they're not allowed over. You can't hang out with them. He has a girlfriend. They give each other Valentine's Day gifts and they build Legos together. That's what they should be doing at 10 years old. Like, that's it. They give each other chocolate and build Legos. When you're 11, I don't care. You're not doing that stuff. You're building Legos.
You just, when you're that young, I don't care. Okay. To any pedophiles watching, that are gonna
Stop
which
watching
they're
us.
not, but just in case, I think the reason we have laws like that is
To stop you.
no, when you're that young. No, let's explore this. Let's get really. If we're gonna talk about this movie,
Damn, we're 2 hours in. Let's go, boys.
fucking okay. I'm getting very heated, obviously,
I understand.
but I mean it's fucking Cuties, right?
Ugh.
Yes.
Just you saying the name makes me
We're
mad.
not talking about Tenet today.
Clearly not.
Really?
I don't think so.
I'm still down.
We'll save it. We can do our own maybe
We're
another
gonna be
time.
so
or-
late.
You can let me watch it. Anyway,
Well, let's just. This is an
Okay.
interesting discussion. I don't want
Yeah.
to cut it short.
like, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're like some fucking creep that's like, oh no, she's asking for it. She wants it.
Ugh.
When you're that young, you're just not emotionally ready to or mentally for those adult types of situations. Hell, I'm 21 and I barely feel like I'm ready for that. Sorry if you're watching, Dad. but I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if I'm technically of age and I feel like I'm like I'm barely even like, there's no fucking. That's why we have those laws. I'm really making you guys
No, I
squirm
know.
right now.
No, I
but
know.
Like,
No, I understand.
yeah. Do you? Yeah.
Yeah. We're on board with you, buddy.
Okay.
100%.
I don't know why I'm saying it then, but it just I feel
No,
like
I
it
know.
needs to be
It's-
said.
It's
One thing that
disgusting.
frustrates me about the discussion is I've heard people, especially from other countries and people from America, talk about certain things about like how, for instance, in America it's okay to, we can see people's heads getting blown off, blood and all these things. Totally fine. It'll be
When you said
PG-13.
head blown off, it's not what I thought
Oh
at
my
first.
god! Really, you're really reaching.
I don't think so. That's my first thought, unfortunately.
And then, we're not okay with like, oh, if we see a boob, then all of a sudden it's like R-rated. I don't know.
Titanic isn't. It's PG-13.
So, I just find that discussion kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that like, as in America, do we are we too like sensitive to stuff like that, to like sexualization, just like in general?
Not of children.
No,
I don't
not
think
as
so.
children, but just in general.
I don't think so. I
so
don't
either.
think we're. I think we're further from it.
Do you think it's
like,
weird that like we show a lot of violence and we're all okay?
Are you
with
talking
that?
about in media specifically?
But in film, yeah.
I also like. Would you?
Because I think there definitely is a difference between like the fictional depiction and like watching like videos of ISIS beheadings on YouTube.
Well,
You
what
know
I mean, I think you
what
nailed.
people do, people
I
are
know.
into that.
I think you
that's
nailed
so
it earlier,
weird.
though. You said that if you know what you're watching is fake, it's not a big deal. If you're
Yeah.
watching somebody be shot in a movie, you know it's fake. It's not a big deal. If you have a rational,
I know the blood coming out is just a mix of corn syrup and
But-
red food coloring.
But if
Yeah.
I'm looking at a pair of boobs, that's a pair of boobs. It's not fake.
Yeah.
It's like it's still it's even if it's in a fake fictional story, it's still boobs. You know what I mean? I mean, even if the sex is fictionalized, it's still like
I'm sorry, just you saying boobs, so angrily.
boobs. Yeah. So
Megan.
I don't know where I was going with this. It's just kind of frustrating.
boobs.
It's frustrating because I hear people criticizing how America is sensitive to that type of stuff, and I don't think that's necessarily a fair
I
critique.
don't think that's true. I really don't think that's true. I think we're anything.
Depicting something is different than actually like doing it. Because
Sorry.
like I think it's important for us to make movies and write books and TV shows and whatever, just tell stories about the subject matter. Molestation, about rape, murder, war, horrible things that happen in this world, so we can talk about it. But if you're gonna make a movie, a documentary, and just go basically make a smut film, like that's a crime, and it's horrific and it's sick. Because there's nothing you can gain. You can't just be like, no, it's art. It's meant to. You can't. That you're just actually doing it and you're contributing to the issue. So that's where I personally draw the line. I think that fiction and reality it's completely different. You can't equate somebody getting their head blown off in a I don't know, in some horror movie, but then then act surprised that people are squeamish watching somebody actually get murdered in some security footage on YouTube or something.
I think what the movie is trying to say, if anything, is that, and it does a really bad job of doing it, is that you can rebel against traditions without being a slut.
Yeah.
And just like waving your private parts everywhere. Like, because I guess that's the whole moral of the story, is she learns to not follow her traditions and be herself, but not, do that stuff at the very end. But it's such a cheap cop out at the very end, because it's like
It's like, you figure it out.
Happens in the last 5 minutes of the movie, and it really doesn't justify anything that you had seen previously, and it doesn't feel like she really necessarily learned anything, or she really worked hard to learn anything, or that again she had to take any responsibility for her actions, or that the movie is like making up for all of that in a way. It just kind of feels like, yeah, you saw a bunch of fucking children's asses for the last hour and 20 minutes, but she's on to better things now.
Yeah.
Zoinks, and then it cuts to credits. It's just like, I don't know.
The Letterboxd reviews are pissing me off too, because they're all like, why is it all the white dudes that are trying to hate on this black woman?
People get so blinded by their agendas.
Why does it matter?
Yeah, why doesn't? Yeah, it really shouldn't matter who's.
Yeah, I mean, I think we really nailed it.
It doesn't
on the
make
head.
you an oppressor to be against pedophilia.
Yeah, we could just go all Brie Larson on this and be like, it wasn't made for you.
God,
it
you're
wasn't
such a piece of shit for wanting children to be safe on the set of a movie and not be sexualized.
Yeah,
Those girls are, I guarantee they're gonna regret being in that movie.
Have you? I mean, I haven't looked into it a lot, but I've heard that the parents of the children in the movie were not happy about the movie at all. We should look into that.
Yeah, that's not...
I've heard that they are not okay, and I've heard things about suing. So,
interesting.
I don't know.
Did they just not have the parents on set? I thought that was kind of common practice to have parents on set.
I don't know, because I think what happened was they had told the parents, "Hey, we're critiquing the sexualization of children," and then they watched the movie and were like, "What the fuck?
You're sexualizing our children."
Yeah.
Again, it's France, so they don't have the same laws and regulations, so I can't really speak for that. But yeah, if
can we acknowledge that some cultures and some laws and belief systems can be inherently worse or bad.
Nazi Germany.
I mean, what I mean is that's the whole Muslim thing. That's the whole idea is you can believe that there are cultures or religions that are that's the difference between religions, and cultures and traditions versus race and stuff like that. Or nobody's arguing that certain races are superior to others, but you can argue that there are traditions, cultures, and religions that are superior, because you can look at what they believe specifically and decide whether or not this is moral.
That doesn't mean you can't be empathetic towards the people that go through those terrible things in other countries. But it doesn't mean
that's the whole thing.
But it doesn't mean you should justify it.
But that what I think is interesting, it all depends on perspective, because from a different perspective, they're like, oh, Christians don't kill gay people. That's immoral. I know that sounds ridiculous, but from their perspective, I'm
not even talking about from their perspective. I'm just talking about people in this country who try to justify those things.
Okay.
It's how can you sit here and say that you're a feminist and then look at what's happening over there?
Gage, it empowers women.
Women are oppressed. I mean, Cuties even touches on this a little bit. How do you justify that? Oh, well, it's a different culture. And? It's a different religion.
You know
And
what?
does that mean that it's automatically okay?
Being inclusive is fine, but you can't argue the fact that, like, yeah, the shit that goes on over there,
We should.
there's a lot of shit that's fucked up. But I think to bring it home, I want to ask you guys individually. I'll start with you, Gage. Because of how you feel about the movie, or just objectively speaking, okay. Do you think it's warranted for Netflix to remove the movie from Netflix? Oh yeah. Oh, ooh, that looks good. Because I think that's what people are ultimately asking here.
I would have to see what happens with if they do the investigation,
Right.
and then go from there. I don't know. I would want I want to see what happens when it's processed through the legal system and stuff, and just kind of see what happens from there. Morally, I think it's wrong. It's just a matter of whether it's illegal. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
I think Netflix deserves flack for putting it on their platform, obviously. But I find it interesting that people spend so much of their time critiquing Netflix for its marketing. People are losing their fucking minds over the marketing, especially people who are defending the movies. Oh yeah, Netflix had a really shitty marketing campaign for this movie. The original poster was such a big controversy. It represents the movie pretty fucking well. I don't know why people were throwing such a big fit over it. I mean, it's raw. I'm not saying.
But it's if you're gonna critique the marketing, you should critique the movie too.
I mean, yeah.
It's the same
what
thing.
did the poster? The poster's them on a stage in tight outfits, which, yeah, it's in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
legs or
That's in the movie.
That's the movie.
That's in the movie.
People are justifying that.
So, but why are people?
I like this poster. This poster's not terrible.
That's the French one. Yeah.
So people defending the movie are saying that poster, that poster, the first poster doesn't represent the movie. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, it does. And I think it's really cheap to just put all the blame on Netflix for that. It's I don't
this
understand.
chick's grabbing her ass. This chick has her legs open. This
I'll
girl's
tell you what,
twerking.
that poster is nothing compared to the
Really?
fucking movie. That is nothing.
That's despicable.
That doesn't even do the movie justice.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell people are talking about.
I think I'm kind of with you. It's again, this is not a movie that I would ever want to watch.
I'm not going to.
So it's really more about the legality and the investigation and stuff.
Yeah.
I think
Because that's all. At the end of the day, that's all we can really We have to have a cutoff somewhere, and the laws are. And if it was illegal, even though I think even if there wasn't anything illegal, it's just morally disgusting.
my question is, how did Netflix, when picking this up, not think
Well, my what I think, and I can't say for certain, but I know Netflix picks up and I'm not trying to just justify this Netflix picking it up, but I do think Netflix produces and distributes so many goddamn movies a year. It might have just kind of
slipped through the cracks?
yeah, and they didn't really look at it.
But they created that poster
super closely.
They created that. They had to in order
They
to create
did.
that poster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Netflix is such a big corporation that, it's they have so many people working on stuff. And, who knows? The guy who made the poster might have been why the hell am I doing this? I guess that's what so it's hard to say. So I'm not going to, delete my Netflix. I do think it was a...
I don't like this. Delete.
A lot of
Well,
people,
boycott
Seriously?
Netflix. Yes, boycott
Deleting it.
Boycott Netflix is a hashtag.
Canceling their subscription?
Yeah, completely.
Kind of crazy.
So it's a warranted discussion. I personally won't. I do think it was a pretty big fuck up. Did I do something?
your lips made a flapping sound.
like a farting
It was
noise.
like a whoopee cushion with the barely any air in it.
I know. I was like, did I hear that right? And made eye contact with you.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not. I'm personally not going to boycott my Netflix. If somebody else decides to, that's their prerogative, I guess. I almost didn't know how to say the word. Prerogative?
Provocative.
Provocative.
That's their.
If that's their pre-shavakaду, they can, yeah.
That's their school.
I won't do that. I think it was a pretty bad, like a big fuck up for them to do that. So I don't justify it, but currently it's still up on Netflix at the time of recording this.
Yeah.
Netflix has done nothing but justify it,
Yeah.
and they seem like they're kind of sticking to their guns. So it's a little weird. It's hard because I also on the other side of the coin, I have applauded Netflix for kind of having the balls to keep certain stuff on their platform, but once it goes to like illegal territory, that's where I'm like, all right.
I am so against
That's the thing. Is it
that
technically
cancel
illegal?
culture stuff with like, it's so weird because people rush to just, oh yeah, we gotta ban this movie or cancel this movie, The Hunt, or shit like that.
Did people actually try and ban The Hunt?
I mean, yeah, that's why it got pushed because of that shooting or whatever. We talked about that. But it's like, and then a movie like this comes along, and you have the people who are typically super against that cancel stuff being like, what the fuck is this? Why is this out? Why are people watching this movie? Why is this even available to watch?
Yeah.
And then it's like people on the who are always like trying to cancel shit are defending it. What was that?
That's my shoe. It sounded like a
It's
fart.
just so weird. I don't know.
You would think that the people who are like first to jump on
And
canceling
even then,
something,
I'm
they
trying
work on
to
this.
like it's again like trying to keep
Sorry.
myself.
Just my derailing your thought with my farting. It's just my
Just trying to keep
my foot moving
consistency
my shoe.
going
Is that a new
here.
shoe? Yeah.
I don't like to see art and films be canceled just because I don't agree with messages and I don't like them, but I just draw the line at child boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say you edit this movie so it's not disgusting. You edit it appropriately and keep it on Netflix. That would be my solution.
I'm against editing movies though. Like I feel like
See, okay.
But do they play an integral part to the plot? Is it like...
I don't think you have to refilm it like you were saying earlier. I don't know.
Just put in like stock footage of like Michael Jackson.
But the thing is, like, people are gonna torrent it anyways, and people are gonna be sharing, even if they take it off of Netflix. People who do want to see the movie for whatever fucked up reason are gonna go out looking for it, and people are gonna have links to it. Like, people are gonna watch it no matter what. I think me and you are kind of the same. I think they should look further into the investigating.
Yeah. I'm glad you watched it though, so that way people can't be like,
Well, none of you guys watched it.
I'm glad you watched it for us because I don't want to
Yeah.
watch something like that.
I saw the scenes that people were most sad about, and I was like, I've seen enough.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck whatever.
Yeah, and normally I'm all for you need to watch a movie to be able to critique it, but if
Right.
you've seen those scenes, I
I mean, shit. You said all the shit about against it before you saw the poster,
Yeah.
and like
I was scrolling through TikTok one day and I saw like 2 or 3 seconds of these girls dancing. I don't know if it was an ad or somebody was posting about it. And then I was like, wow, that's the only thing I've seen about is like 2 or 3 seconds of them dancing. I was like, wow, this is a lot. And the caption said something about Netflix and Cuties. And I was like, I don't want to watch that. And I just moved on. That's all I've seen of it.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious where we stand with it.
Yep.
I don't need. All right, so if you want to follow us on Letterboxd, you can. We all have letterboxes. We all have YouTube channels. We all have social security numbers.
I'm also on Letterboxd.
We're a Letterboxd. Go follow the Dialogue Instagram.
Yeah.
Posting something right
If
now
you're
as we
listening,
speak.
Did I not say you have a Letterboxd?
I'm just fucking around. I was just being stupid. If you were listening on the audio only, yeah, we have a YouTube channel. That's where
You're just repeating.
you
everything
can-
I just said.
you did not say that.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't. Did
we
you?
all have YouTube channels. We all have letterboxes.
No, I said if you're listening to the audio only version, you can check out the
okay.
YouTube channel and
All right, I'm
subscribe.
sorry.
It's okay. Subscribe, and We got clips and shit. If you're on YouTube, you can go to the audio-only versions. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts, stuff like that. I have probably released a video on my own channel about this podcast. So if we have a bunch of new listeners this week, thank you all for tuning in. We very much appreciate it. Sorry we just got so crazy and controversial.
Yeah, this is an unconventional episode for us, so don't expect every episode to be as wild as this one normally.
Podcast normally isn't this, like, I don't know.
I feel like this one we
Intense.
were all over the place.
We usually get political every 3 episodes or so you don't have to worry about that all the time.
I mean, I did talk about that in my video. I was like, yeah, you know, we get political, but we mainly talk about movies, and, like, you know, every other podcast usually there's some political stuff brought up, but it's like, you know, but I was like, even if you're not into politics, there's enough, we talk about movies enough to justify, like, the political stuff that we talk about. So it's not like 50-50, it's like 75-25 or probably 80-20, I would say.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're new listening, you came from my other channel, thank you for coming over. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I think that's all for today. We're probably going to be talking about Tenet soon. We've already seen it, but this guy needs to see it. And if not, we'll still be talking about it soon. And yeah, ask us questions in the comments below, and we'll answer them in the next podcast.
Preferably questions about movies.
Or anything, I don't care. As long as it's not about as long as it's not about Bill Cosby killing people in jail
and gorillas harvesting organs.
You know who you
Drake
are.
and Josh Go Hollywood.
Yeah, you know who you are. We're gonna try to build up some Q&A questions, and then that way we can, like, you know, do an actual, like, good.
We could just go on the street and be like, "Do you have any movie questions?"
Please ask us. Please ask me something.
The dialogue on the street. That's our next episode.
Dialogue on the street. Yeah.
Rest easy. I'm Chris Evans with Eyewitness Knows.
No. Is that just programmed?
Have you seen what is it? Bruce Almighty? Evan Almighty? I don't remember which one. Boobs.
Kyle trying to be the professional. All right, we're gonna.